right, so we're going to call our meeting to order.
7:09.
7:08. You guys got the budgets? Did you pass them out? Mm-hmm. Of who's coming in tonight? We updated the sheet. I'll email it out after the night again, so everyone has the updated numbers. Kind of go over it briefly. Again, this is last year's budget, town meeting vote, and then the actual budget's at the end of the year. And then this is what we're working on so far. It's been requested. The only changes from last time were the budget came in for Monty Tech and the assessment's down 10%, or about $30,000. And this is the new highway budget that came in. They've had some changes that they're not going to be able to make it tonight, but when they do come in, we can talk to them about it. There are some concerns about the electricity, so they kind of bumped it up. But you'll see it, they got their new budget there that they submitted, the revised budget. But we'll make sure, at least at our next meeting, that they're at it. So I'm not quite sure if Jason's going to make it tonight. The highlighted things, and these were the revised numbers from the sewer and from the treasurer. And then this is the, as of today, they're saying snow Saturday, Sunday. So as of today, this is where we're at. So we'll be changing snow and ice in May, the way it's going. So that's where we're at, that we're going to have to come up with for snow and ice. The sewer funding's in there, transfer from water. And then this is where we're at as of right now. We're short about $170,000. But as we talked about at our last meeting, this still includes the police officer that Eric's been trying to get for years put back in here. And the highway department's nervous about the electricity, but I don't know, we'll talk to them about it when they come in. It's almost doubled from what they had last year, so, but...
And everybody's?
It's supposed to go back down again May 1st.
Yeah, we have a contract, and the contract was met, but we'll kind of talk about it when they come in, the town contract, so it shouldn't be that, but when Jason comes in, we'll talk to him about his concerns. And, I think the thing to do, too, is we should probably go with the lower amount, and if it does go up, address it then. I can't see putting money into it, on the nervousness or concern like that, so, but again, we'll talk to Jason when he comes in, so he's here. Other than that, most of the budgets have been level funded. And as we talked about, there is some wiggle room for this 170. The police officer can come out, and then we don't have any the transfer station receipts in here yet. So that's usually around 90 is what we've been using. So to at least fund the operations for the Board of Health. So.
David, do you have the money plugged in there for the sewer that they kick in?
We have their debt right here. Yeah, the money for the sewer, for their funding's here. And it's $7,500. The receipts are $7,500 more than their expenses because we charge them for town services, them and water now. And then this is their debt should be here. Now, this is the bone of contention that we have with them, was when the sewer was first put in, it was said at town meeting that it's a town-wide, the town should support the debt for the sewer, for the original loan. That wasn't the agreement going forward for every other expansion and all that, so this $87,000 is the original, no, this $87,000 is the debt that they've incurred since then. Their original loan is being paid for in our regular debt. What's that?
87 is water.
I'm sorry. 75. Heather's so polite. Wants to tell you you're wrong, but doesn't. So the 75, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong line, is the original, is the debt they've incurred since then. So, so we're going back and forth with them on it. I think they should take all their debt over as an enterprise fund, but it was said at town meeting that originally that their debt would be paid for by the town.
But not the upgrades?
No.
Just
So,
like a couple,
Yep.
at least.
Yep. So, but that 75 is additional money they're kicking in to pay the other debt. So, And that's actually, is that the exact amount, or is that just their,
75 is, that's what they contribute.
that's what
every
they,
year.
yeah,
That's
contribute,
not
their,
the exact.
yeah, their debt's a lot higher, so, but that's what they vote to do. So that's where we're at as of tonight. Nothing much has changed other than the Monty Tech and some of the other budgets coming in, and the ambulance is coming in tonight too to discuss their budget. But do you guys want to come up, or you want to do it from there, and we'll pull?
If you'd like. I don't know what kind of discussion we're doing. We might as well just go from here. If you'd like us to come up, we can.
All right, you can do it from there. This gets crowded with the...
I know that certainly Kathy Inman and others were here with all kinds of information. We have shared all kinds
Yep.
of information with you regarding budget. Obviously, our problems with budget are some that you're very aware of. Last year, we took the estimated cherry sheet value of transportation, passed it all back to the towns.
Yep.
And now we're stuck with $230,000 of lost revenues that we're trying to make up out of our current budget, which means we're making reductions as we go along to try to suck up that. We've also lost kindergarten grants, as you know. The amount for circuit breaker has been reduced on all 9 C cuts, so we're really struggling just to close out FY15 in any kind of good situation. Additionally, the state is giving us less. Kindergarten grants have been cut completely. It's a $100,000 loss. They've given an increase of $20 per student, which is $44,000 to us. But of course, when you minus the $100,000 in kindergarten grants and the loss again of $230,000 in transportation, obviously the revenues coming from the state have been decreased significantly, which means even if we were to level fund your budget, level fund our budget, in other words, 0, 0, 0, which we can't do without extraordinary cuts in personnel, your assessments are 7 or 8%. Because the state's basically saying, we used to pay about 65% several, 10 years ago for schools. Now we're only going to pay you 49% of the costs of your schools. And other than in the vocational area where they do have lots of other revenues that they have access to that we don't in their after-school and after-hours programming. So I would tell you that the original budget that we put forth, we've taken $2 million out of it.
No one's heard that yet.
Yeah.
You're hearing that here tonight.
The
because we have a committee.
The school committee will be working with us on next week, and we'll go $2 million. Obviously, these are very deep cuts for us, and I cannot even fantasize that we will come to you with a 0 increase in our school budget.
Oh, every year we try to plan on something, so
Yeah, but
we know that.
understand, that you're not paying us now, you're paying the governor.
Right.
Because the governor's budget has cut so much revenue out of schools that and said, hey, either cut it or let the towns pay it. And I don't know how, unless you're magicians, how we can do that.
For example, the bottom line budget that went to public hearing was 8.5% increase. The average assessment to member towns was 27.
I mean, we're not fantasizing that budget. And so even when it's 0, you're talking, in some of the towns, double-digit increases with us taking a 0 increase in budget. And it's all because of loss of state revenues. Unfunded mandates, losses of state revenues. So we've got a lot of work ahead of us, no question about it. We're involved in a court case against the governor relative to his 9C cuts in Chapter 71. Maura Healy has said the schools are right. The governor said, please just be patient, whatever that means, whether he's going to try to mitigate some of those 9C cuts, if we don't know. We just lost the MCAS remediation grants for the summer. Those are for kids who continue to have, difficulty struggling to meet those graduation requirements. Those funds will be gone. Obviously, that service delivery pattern may have to be just, cut out of our budget. I don't see us having the capacity to run those without the grants. We hear rumblings that maybe the entire Commonwealth will get kindergarten grants back. That's $100,000 for us. I certainly am not going to take that to the bank. And obviously, going forward, the $230,000, $82,000 of which was yours, just in the new transportation money, isn't going to be here in FY16 because the governor's put us back to FY14 dollars. And Ian Govey, at least what we read in the paper, said don't expect any more money because there's none.
Yeah,
We
then,
hope that that was some misprint.
I don't know, we met with, I saw these guys last week when we met, we went in and met with the secretary about our budget, and,
The administration finding?
yeah,
Yeah.
and she did say that it was a lot worse than they were even told when they came in originally, and they were nervous, so,
Yeah.
yeah, she didn't paint a rosy picture.
So I would like to be able to say to you, I can give you an assessment, I mean, I can give you a variety of
Yeah.
assessments, if we do this, if we do this. So we're obviously going to be looking at a number of options and ways in which to manage differently the programs that we offer to our kids. Obviously, we have a lot of interest in school choice. We've been very disciplined about saying, well, we may get really aggressive. But, because I would tell you, as bad off as we are, Narragansett's right with us, Wachusett is with us. Wachusett lost $1.4 million in transportation money. They're, of course, much larger than we are, but $1.4 million there. They don't have kindergarten grades because they don't offer full-day kindergarten, which is amazing. The city of Worcester, of course, has lost tons of money in revenues and kindergarten grants and other things. Circuit Breaker is not going to be fully funded to 75%, and we have 4 or 5 students alone who are new to our district who are in excess of $1 million for those 4 students to be placed in our district placements. So, and then we're still, grappling with the Seven Hills Foundation group home, and that's been something that we're working with the Department of Ed to try to get at least Chapter 70 funding for those students for whom we have obviously become responsible. And so we continue to work on that. But it is not a good, at least the governor's budget. Now, that could shift around depending on how the House allocates funding. We could maybe do a little better in transportation or perhaps better in kindergarten grants. But right now, if you take the governor's number of schools, especially in central Massachusetts, who are heavily dependent on transportation finance, we're in very bad shape. We expect that the commissioner will be visiting us. We do. We can't see a way, I mean, the only way we can see out of it, nobody's going to vote. Would you agree?
Yeah. All right.
I mean, we'll get through it. Somehow we'll all put it together and we'll get through it. And the problem we have is you've got the Secretary of Education who's new, who was interviewed last night on Channel 2, I think if you saw it on PBS, to basically say, we're interested in 50 more charter schools. And remember, the charter schools are all just funded from the state and from those places where those kids come from. So they sit around and they're not going to the towns for the towns to support their schools. They get an amount to fund their schools, and that's the end of it. And so we're very nervous about the new regime. I'll be perfectly honest with you, and its attention to schools.
Maureen, I got a question with Stetson Home down here. Some of the teachers were talking about if a kid comes there, now they might come to us, or...
You've got 3 of them now.
And then, and then we have to pay for them?
And we get no Chapter 70 for that individual student. We get no funding at all, which is absolutely criminal. If that student was coming for us, and I'm making up a town now, okay, East Cupcake. If that student really was picked up by DCF because of not being able to stay in his or her family for some reason, and then ends up at the group home at Stetson or Seven Hills, and that student's found eligible to attend our school, the school at East Cupcake gets the Chapter 70 money, and we get nothing, and we're educating him, and we're working with the Department of Ed, and they keep saying, well, circle back if you don't find that you can help from the legislature. They'll circle back. All they have to do is really allow us to either count them and put them on our census. We tried 3 different ways. We tried just putting them in, they caught us there. Then we tried putting them in as school choice, figuring we'd at least get $5,000 for them. But they caught us there, but we're not done with them yet.
What did they used to do on Stetson?
Well, they had their own Stetson school.
No, but they did attend high school.
Years ago, they were
Yes,
part
they
of our
did when I
census.
went to school.
They were yeah, but they were residents of the town of Barre
So
at
they
that
were
point. They were
considered
orphans. Yeah, and they were always funding through that, but that was years and years ago now. They haven't attended our school in probably 15 years. They've been at their own school there, the students who were
And
sitting.
we have to bus them.
Considered as residents.
Well,
Living in town.
yeah, but see, technically, they're a residential placement coming out of DCF, so it's a little, but they should be, we should be getting money from the town that's getting the money for not educating them.
Right.
Yeah.
We have to
Right.
transport them.
Well, they transport themselves, they just, well, if they're in out-of-district placements, then that's a
If
back bill.
that continues to
the
expand, I
account
mean,
of
and
this
this
money.
continues to happen, it's a deficit for
Yeah.
us.
So it's fine when they're out of district place, it's not fine when they end up at our school. I mean, it's fine, they're nice kids, not a big
And you
deal.
said something about qualifiers, something like that. How's that?
Well, because some of them are special ed, and they have such significant needs that they have to be placed out of the regular school day programs. So they may go to, I don't know, outside of Boston somewhere to another placement. So these are kids who are taken from their homes, DCF puts them in the group home, and then they go, maybe they're driven halfway to Boston to be in another school, and then they come back and sleep at the group home. I know, it doesn't seem very logical, but that's, and then there are some of them whose special education needs are something that we can, where their emotional or school adjustment issues are such that we can, at least we think we can manage them, so then they come to the Quabbin Middle School or high school, but we get no financial subsidy for that at all. But even if they're placed outside into another school, they don't come to Quabbin, we may not have to pay for that, for the tuition or the transportation to get them there, but it's our sped director, it's our behavioral specialist, it's our clinical coordinator, it's our whole staff
And our legal
that
counsel.
have to go to those meetings because they're technically
Very, very.
Barre
Yeah.
residents,
Yeah,
but not really.
but not
Seems
really.
like the
So
same
we
business.
still have the administrative and the cost of our whole team to attend all of those meetings so they can go to the special ed placement uptown.
And last year, Wachusett got a large contingent of these students from Devereaux School, and they were allotted from the Department of Education pothole money, you know, that money that's been, well, of course, that's been cut. The governor didn't even fund that in his budget, so we can't even make application for, you know, extraordinary relief under that particular line item anymore, because that's a zero.
Well, the house is when? 2 weeks from now, we're supposed to see it?
They're gonna report out, I think, on the 27th, did she say? We would,
Or somewhere around there.
And then Ann Goby said the Senate budget may be here by the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's helpful. 1 week before we're supposed to finish the year.
well, as I said, we will be having public meetings next week in subcommittee as well as the full committee, and I will suspect we will be sending assessment letters. When you get the assessment letter, you will get this introductory letter from me saying, please don't look at these numbers and scream.
Yeah.
We are going to continue to work with you, but we have to come up with something.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be higher than we know, it will end up going to the floor with, and I have a lot of parents who come to the meetings and want us to make sure we do more music. Like, you know, there's probably 50 of them. And then I have parents from the elementary school in Barre who are very concerned, because we have quite large classes in some of those grade levels, 26s and 27s, 29s. That's not going to change in this budget. That is not going to change. And so we can try to do some creative things with maybe school mergers or redistricting, moving some students around, but I know that that will not be very popular with parents, that's for sure. But
Well, I think we're going to be like you in a way. We only have 2 more ambulance tonight and then highway next week. All of our budgets are in. I think we're going to be in the same boat. We're all just waiting to see how numbers shake out between now and
Doesn't sound good.
June, so.
I mean, because now it looks like, I don't know what administrative finance said, but are they saying now we're about $2 billion in FY15?
She, at the time when we met with her, said that, what were they saying at that time, it was about 800 million. She
Okay.
said it was probably twice what they thought coming in.
So 800 million is twice what they thought?
No, that it was going to be twice as bad.
Twice.
That, yeah, that they really got handed,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
really.
that's those Republicans talking about the Democrats, so I don't know if I take that.
No one seems to be arguing with them, though, if you've noticed. They're all kind of quiet, which is the sign when they're not fighting is when it's like, someone's telling the truth
Well,
of
the thing
them.
that makes me very nervous is, like you say, the lack of Stan Rosenberg, the lack of DeLeo doing anything but saying what a great budget the governor put out.
Yeah.
Really? That's so unusual. Usually say, well, we've been taking a look at the governor's budget and we'll be creating our own.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot of that. There's a little bit too. Stan Rosenberg, though, is a big regional guy. He's out of Amherst.
Yeah, he's a
and has
good
a lot
guy.
of regional schools, and so our only hope is he'll help us with regional transportation, because that would be huge for us. $400 million for us would be
Well, isn't-
revenue. Would be actually your revenue. It's huge for
And
us.
Karen Spilka, who's the Senate, she's
Yes.
a regional school district area too up there, so,
Yeah. So that's our
Yeah.
hope,
Yeah.
that we can maybe make some noise. I mean, and with regional transportation, especially because we took the 9C cut too. No other school took a cut in transportation other than the regions. And that was from Governor Patrick, as well as, the current governor who decided to let that stand, so.
But for years and years and years, hold harmless was $25 per student, now it's only 20. So you even took a hit with the hold harmless.
What will happen within, I'm going to venture a guess, within the next 5 years, some pro bono attorneys are going to pick up and go back to the state's, Supreme Court. Because Hancock versus the Secretary of Education in 2005, when they said, well, this doesn't look like the state's really paying for public education the way it's supposed to. But, we think they've really tried, so we're just going to watch it from now. And then, of course, in 2008, the bottom fell out, and everybody just was going like this. But trust me, if your child were in Weston, Wellesley, Northborough, Southborough, take Shrewsbury, they just passed, I forget how huge that override was. They hired 60 new teachers last year. You think our kids have the same quality of opportunity? I mean, and that's what the state's supposed to do. They're supposed to backfill what you don't have the capacity to raise and appropriate, and they're not. They're giving you more and more to raise and appropriate with no help.
So a week we'll get the pie in the sky number, basically, and then we'll kind of...
You won't get the real pie in
Yeah.
the sky number that I'd love to send you, but then you really would run from screaming from the room. But no, we'll give you a number with the expectation that obviously we'll continue to work with you to...
I haven't been harassing Cheryl as much this year because I kind of knew we were all in the same boat anyway, so that's kind of why I wasn't calling you like I have in years past as much, so...
But
Yeah.
if you take a look at our information, I think we've covered the waterfront probably with that. And we are working with the 5-member towns, as you know, to kind of look at a 5-year projection in some of the areas that we can have a little control over. I'll be happy to give some information to Karen Polito, who I guess is looking for unfunded mandates. Well, the unfunded mandates that Suzanne Bump said you have to pay McKinney-Vento, homeless transportation. Well, they cut that too. So, I mean, I just wonder, why are you looking for unfunded mandates when you just cut the unfunded mandate
That you won.
that we
Fought
won?
more last year.
It's kind of crazy, but you have unfunded mandates, I'm just confident.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Anybody else have any questions for... We appreciate you coming in, so we'll just keep in contact with you as we get closer.
Please, Faye, call us or whomever,
Yeah.
if you have any questions, we're happy to come again with more information or different information. If any of you have the opportunity on next Thursday night, guessing the school committee will be taking a vote. They'll be reducing the preliminary budget that was presented minimally by $2 million, maybe more. And that still will not be enough. It'll be enough for me, but it will not be enough for you to make your numbers.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. So we'll stay in contact with you as we get closer
You
here.
know where we live.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, by the way, wait, before you leave, we have one of the French students, and we've had a hoot with him. He's been a really nice kid. We've had a great time doing this, so...
Yeah, they're heading back, I think, tomorrow. so-
Yeah, my daughter heads over there in a couple of weeks, so...
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, it was a good program. Thank you guys for doing that, so...
Yeah. Keep it up.
You ready?
No.
No? Okay. You can sit back down. We'll do somebody else.
This one piece for me.
Read your budget.
Yeah.
You're welcome. So how we looking?
Well, a few things have changed,
Uh-huh.
not for the good. We changed the way EMS does CPR.
Okay, yep.
There's 120 compressions a minute for 8 minutes.
Mhm.
We're too far away from the hospital to play that game. 'Cause then you're dead. You got to work on the person all the way to the hospital. Most of the other towns around, I'll pass this around. Most of the other towns around are buying these things.
Mhm.
They do compressions. That's $13,000 a piece. And we need one for each truck. So that would add a little to the budget. The other thing that's on the capital plan, that's not in this budget, is we talked about a new ambulance in 2015. One of the ambulances has 120,000 miles on it. And it's serviceable, but this year or next year, you gotta start thinking about it, because it takes 8 or 9 months to get one built when you need one.
How long, 8 to 9 months? I'm sorry, just write it down.
I'm sorry.
8 to 9 months lead time?
Yeah, you to order what you want, because you gotta put it out to bid. You gotta come up with specs, put it out to bid, and you work on a water bid, then they build it. They don't build it ahead of time.
Ballpark figure on cost.
200 grand.
Okay.
That's what Rutland's new one just cost 220. So if it's a bigger truck, you don't get the mid-range trucks, you don't get the 4500s.
$20 on the other.
The one's got 68,000 and the other one's got 100,000. The older one has less mileage. Because it's off-road and winter vehicle. They don't use it as much as the other one. It's all-wheel drive.
Thank you.
Continue. So, on your budget part here, so the headquarters expenses, well, that was more than last year because we are back where we're at now.
The rent went up.
Yeah. And how's the ambulance billing coming? How are we with switching that?
That starts next week.
Yep,
Uh-huh.
starts on April 6th.
Do we anticipate a better return now
Yes.
than
That's
before?
the plan.
Uh-huh. Because right now we have ambulance receipts at 280 to support the budget.
That's based on the trending of receipts this year.
Okay. But you see that going up for next year?
Yes. Based on their average rate of collection,
Uh-huh.
they're in the 95th percentile in this forecast.
This fiscal year is like 3/4 done, right? By the time we switch companies.
Oh, yeah,
So,
yeah. And they're going to be going after some of this back stuff too? Or,
We're going to be reviewing all those
Mhm.
old claims to see if they're even collectible, and then if they're not, we're going to write them off.
okay. All right. Anything else, or,
there's a couple of things that might change.
okay?
CMed dues, they've gone up a fair amount.
Uh-huh,
But some of the other ambulance services are using cell phones to call the hospital directly instead of using CMed, which is a two-way radio.
okay.
But there's a whole lot of places in town where cell phones don't work, so we don't know how much of that we can save.
Okay.
And I know there's a big increase on ambulance services, but we combined a couple of lines. So it's a jump, but I don't know how to answer it any better than, we always need something. We're running a couple of stretches. The stretches are 15 years old. Sooner or later, they're not going to pass inspection. They're like $3,500 a piece. So I put it in there just in case. It's under services instead of supplies, but that could have been my fault. I may have said it wrong. But a lot of the costs are fixed. The defib service is fixed. We have no control over that. We don't do travel, we don't do postage, even though somebody's talking about doing travel. You get that from somebody about getting paid to go from place to place in their own vehicle? I said no, but We'll see what happens. And I use very little postage, I don't know what the machine is, but it's less than $10 a year. Just take it out of something else. Now, ambulance billing, if it's gonna be 5%, that may go up a little, because this was the old 3.5%. So, it should be all right for a while.
So billing may be higher?
Well, they charge a higher percentage of what they collect than the other company. One was charging 3.5, this one's gonna charge 5.
5 or more coming in hopefully too. so-
Well, that's what I mean, it's gonna go up, yeah. We may end up with more, but
So you said a new ambulance costs 200,000
Roughly.
approximately?
yeah.
And what's the life of a new ambulance?
Well, it depends on how many calls you go on.
Right.
The one that I wanna replace is a 2009 with 120-something thousand miles on it. And it's okay, maybe for another year, but you gotta think about it.
Yeah.
You know, and we may put another 50,000 miles on it this year, you don't know.
Yeah, sure.
And the thing that nobody thinks about, they're not nice miles. You get in the thing and it's
Well, of
old and you
course,
beat the
yeah.
crap out of it.
Yep, yep. Yeah, you're not doing a speed limit.
Well, you may do the speed limit, but you're not wasting a lot of time getting there.
Yeah.
And it's heavy. It's a $14,000, 15,000 pound vehicle. It's pretty much maxed out.
You see it now?
Yep, thanks, Dave. I had my eyes done today.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, but you had it on.
Oh, it's okay.
In my eyeballs.
Yeah, yeah. What are you drinking?
Oh, yeah.
Move closer if you want. I think the other you, Richie, as an excuse.
Charlie, what's the expected life of these new compression machines? Do you have any idea?
They've been around for 2 or 3 years, I have no idea, but you're not gonna use it very often.
Okay, so it should,
I mean, I'm gonna guess they're gonna last us 10 years. We don't use them a lot, but the way they've changed the way we do CPR, by the time we get the person loaded in the truck to go to the hospital, we're gonna be exhausted.
You know,
We don't have the option of having a couple of extra EMTs hanging around just waiting to go.
They're really neat to see. We've had a couple guys leave our facility and get them strapped on. It's kind of a neat thing to see them in action.
Most of the surrounding towns that are at the paramedic level have these, not the basic level.
You know, it seems like they keep changing the rules on CPR.
They do, all the
Because
time.
I have to get, as a coach, I have to get certified every couple of years, and I've been coaching a long time. And it's changed at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, this should just change again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
CPR first aid, they keep changing. Oh, now you're doing it this way. So,
This particular CPR is just for EMS. The
Yeah.
police officers don't change, the firefighters don't
Okay.
change. It's just us.
because they may change it again.
Of course they may. That's still gonna help us out.
And that, okay, so that wouldn't be obsolete if they
No,
changed it again.
because you can dial in how many times you want it to work
Yeah, okay.
per minute. And I'd like to go out and get competitive bids, but that's the only company that makes that thing.
Anything else coming up we need to know about?
Hopefully not. I don't see any, if we end up with our public safety building, we might have to buy a little furniture, like a bunk or something,
Okay,
but nothing big.
we'll worry about that then.
Right.
All right, you guys have any questions, or? Again, we're real sorry.
Thank you.
Saturday was really nice. They did a really good job. It was really pretty. I mean, everyone that spoke did a great job.
It was very impressive. I was okay till I turned around to walk out.
Saw everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice crowd. Again, we're really sorry. She was a great lady. She really was. So,
Well, thank you.
anybody else have any questions? Or? No. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, Charlie. And my hands are back.
Yeah, we all have. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie.
See you guys later. Okay.
129.
Yeesh.
Sorry, I tried to grab it quick.
Who's next?
Ellen, and then
Hey, Ellen. Yeah, we're ready if you are. Okay, thanks. Bye. Want to quickly discuss the annual town meeting date?
Yep.
Annual town meeting date?
Sure, we want to do it.
Well, by the sounds of her, we should do it August 2nd. Well, it sounds like the later the better now, David, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think, what's the last day of school, the
Third.
23rd right now?
Hopefully that's it.
I mean, we're still gonna try to do Tuesday or Wednesday nights, to give that extra one day.
Tuesday night.
Tuesday, yeah.
So Tuesday, the 23rd.
That's the last day of school, David?
Do that or the 16th, I don't know.
I'm wondering if that last day of school, if that'll be hectic for the school, you know, with cleanup and, you know what I'm saying, the last day of school, they get stuff everywhere, clean stuff out.
We do the 16th and then 23rd is a backup.
Sure, that works, yeah.
In case it snows.
It's just, yeah. The way it's going.
So the selectmen have to vote on
Yeah.
that.
Make a motion, Lisa. Make a motion, 23rd is backup.
Annual town meeting on the 16th of June, with the 23rd as an alternate date,
And starting time at 6:30.
starting time at 6:30.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
And that opening and closing of the warrant.
Yeah.
Open the warrant tomorrow and close it April 30th. Is that,
Depends on if free cash is certified and we know how much it's going to be.
you can always reopen it,
Okay,
yeah.
so we'll open it tomorrow, which is the 2nd of April, and close it on the 30th.
Second it. All in favor?
Aye.
What's going on?
Hey, where do you want me?
Wherever you want to sit, wherever you want.
I'll go over here.
All right, so what do we have, Ellen? You're our favorite person coming in with a -4%.
Hey, Rose. Yeah, there's pretty much no changes.
Uh-huh.
Everything is pretty much the same except for elections are gone down to the number of elections.
Yep.
I'm out of breath position.
That's all right.
So I apologize.
Just so you know, Rick is new to the case, so every year,
Yeah.
depending on the year, her election, just because of the number of elections, so her budget goes down one year, up the next year, is usually based on the number of, if we have a primary and, you know, general, and this year we don't. So
Okay.
this year we're going to just have the town.
For the town election, and we have the presidential primary coming up
Let's try
in March. So I pretty much left the budget the same for that, but we do have, well, we will be having 4 ballots for that presidential primary because we have 2 more parties that were created by petition. Other than that, I think we're pretty good.
Anything we need to know about, or any expenses you're kind of fretting coming up? I know there's always something with storage and vaults and
Yeah.
humidity with you, and anything else down there, so anything we need to know about or prepare for?
As far as I know, the whole mold episode was pretty much taken care of. They have to do the drainage, but I think that's Heather, and that's not gonna be coming out of my budget. So any of those related items, I think would come out of the maintenance, Heather can answer. So if there's any expenses for that. One thing that I would like to express my support on is an IT person.
Yeah.
That I really would like to express my support on that, because I feel that we really do need some type of an IT person for guidance and help along the way, because we run into issues quite frequently with whether it's an email issue or, you know, internet issue or
just things that we could really, if we had some type of support in that area, I think we really need it. One thing, I mean, like the spam stuff, getting through our emails and stuff like that, we've been getting inundated with all of that type of stuff. So those are issues that I'd like to see, maybe something in the future. As far as the election world, there are a lot of changes. As you're probably aware with the new legislation, a lot of that takes effect with 2016, the year 2016. The audits and all of that are going to be pretty much unfunded mandates that we'll be looking at. But it's not, I don't think it's going to affect us in this budget. It would be for next budget season. And actually, that's something that you want to prepare for. For the next fiscal year, we'll have a minimum of 4 elections, so our budget will be jumping. So you want to be anticipating the increase for that, for the number of elections, the number of, like I said, any other changes or mandates that we may be faced with, such as training. I know that they're requiring mandatory training are going to be required for the registrars. Just
Any big office expenses you're seeing coming up? The shredders, any of these big items that come?
long term, I think maybe the replacement of voting booths for precinct 2 would be a long term. That's going to be, I think, only a matter of time. We're still using wooden booths there. Precinct 1, we switched to the round ones several years ago, and those seem to be still holding up pretty good. And that would be the style I would be looking probably to switch over to
How much do you
precinct
think
2.
that would cost? Just rough guess to be able to throw?
Each one of those round circles are about $5,000 or $6,000.
Isn't that much?
I believe, yes, for the pack lots. That's with the lights, because it includes the wiring of the lights. I think. I could be wrong on that, but I think that was the...
Awesome.
Voting machines, I think we're going to be good for them for a while. We just refurbished one of them. They're no longer making that style voting machine, and the Secretary of State has approved a new version. But I think we're going to be good for as long. And the company that I use has bought up old ones, so they'll have plenty of parts on hand and stuff. So I'd like to see our voting machines go for a minimum of another 10 years, if we could keep them going. So I don't anticipate that being a problem. Like I said, as long as they have the parts, because everyone's upgrading. A lot of the other municipalities are just going to the newer technology. I think we're small enough where if we can continue to stay with the current system that we have, it works well.
Yeah. Seems so.
Yeah, I'd say go with it for as long as we possibly can. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Anything other than any other major things? The shredder, I think, is probably another. I'd like to get another couple of years out of that. That was a big expense item, but
Yeah.
we use it quite a bit.
Yeah, you do. Well, then it pops up, let us know, like a big item like that, that you can't
Yeah.
fit into your operating expenses.
Yeah, I think we're good. Like I said, I until I know more about what's going to come, and we get actual regulations from the Secretary of State's office and more guidance from them as far as what we're going to need with the new regulations, I think I try to keep it level.
Well, we appreciate it. Anybody have any questions for Ellen? You do a good job down there, you guys, so thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ellen. Oh, thank you. Yeah, if anyone else has their certificates, I want to make sure they have those.
Oh, that's right.
Ellen,
Yeah.
I went to print mine out and my computer went, it would not download, it just sat there for a lot of times. That website doesn't work all the time.
Okay.
I don't know what to do about it.
That's run by the Secretary of State's office, so we can let them know if it's the website. You think it's the website and not your system, right? You're not your internet connection?
You know, I was trying to find it. It started to print, and then it went wacko.
Yeah.
And my
But if-
speed went all the way to 100, it just sat there. Something isn't right.
Yeah, what you can do is, you can go over to the library too, the library is available. They have the systems over there. And the Stephanie over at the library and her staff is trained to assist anybody that needs to take that. And if they run into problems, they can call for you. Or they can call me, and at that time, we can call and try to find out what the problem is. But yeah, the state maintains all that, that's all through the Ethics Commission, but. Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay, have a good night, everyone.
Thanks.
And don't forget, the election is Monday, this Monday, town election from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come vote, please.
How late are you here till tonight?
We want to get, what's that?
How late are you downstairs till?
We're downstairs till 9 o'clock tonight.
I need to grab an absentee ballot.
Yes, the last day to apply for the absentee ballot is tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So if anyone else needs an absentee ballot, they have to apply by 5 tomorrow. And unless they're voting in person, we do have to mail the ballot. So we want to make sure that you get that quick. All right, have a good night, everyone. Thanks.
All right, so where we're at right now is we have all the budgets in, we haven't met with Highway yet, so we'll have them come in at our next meeting, and then, which will be on the,
We were talking about that.
yeah, we're gonna talk in other meetings here.
I didn't cancel the 7th one yet.
I'm not available next Wednesday, I won't be back in time on the 8th. No, wait, was it the 7th or 8th?
We had originally had the
The 7th.
7th posted, but I didn't cancel it yet.
Is everybody free the 8th? To do a meeting at 7 o'clock on the 8th? What do you think, can we get him in by that time?
We can try. Can you give me a second?
The 14th?
15th?
15th? Either one of those?
Okay, 8th or the 15th then?
Yes.
Okay.
No, everybody will reach out to Harry tomorrow and see if he's available either the 8th or the 15th. And then all the budgets are in. Most folks level funded or close to it. So we should just probably on that night start going through, after we meet with Highway, we'll go through all these budgets one by one and kind of discuss them. You know, we can talk about Eric's request again for the extra officer and kind of do those things, that, and then have our preliminary first discussions of all the budgets. Figure out what I think the tough part's gonna be is we don't have the state number, so we have no idea what our local aid's gonna be, what the school number's gonna be, but I think we can at least go through our municipal budgets and say, okay, we're gonna do an extra body or not recommend, kind of do that first pass.
The school's meeting next Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be better if we meet on the 15th then? Then we'll have the school number.
Yeah, but I think no matter what they do,
Yeah.
I agree we can go on the 15th, but no matter what they do next week,
It won't
that's,
matter.
yeah, that's gonna be their first, cut of many that they're gonna have to go through, so. But yeah, we can do the 15th, that works for, if you just wanna say the 15th. and
That's
then-
fine.
Because I think she said the 24th or the 27th, they were gonna have a better idea what the government was
Well,
gonna.
the house number will come out, the house budget gets released at some point around, usually around school vacation week, and then they debate it the week after or something, so, you know, they'll have that number, and that's always different.
So I'll just try to get him in for the 15th.
15th, yeah.
If it doesn't work out, I'll
Yeah.
just touch base with you. Okay?
And then, so we should go.
There's none on the 8th.
What?
So there's no meeting.
Yeah, we'll wait till the 9th, so they have their Thursday night meeting, and then we'll be the following week, and we'll have a better idea of that. Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna find ourselves in a situation like we have in other years, where once we go through all of our town budgets, they didn't really go up, there's no real surprises in them, there's nothing earth-shaking in most of them. we'll do that.
It's sad, David, it's gonna come down to like, what's been going on for quite a few years, we're gonna have to end up cutting the police officer, cutting the highway
Yeah.
worker. You know, we keep telling them, yep, things are gonna get better, things are gonna get better, and
We stopped saying that. This is the last
They have
year.
gotten
Yeah,
a little
right.
better.
then you see what happens, like
Yeah.
with Maureen and
It's improved a
Cheryl.
little.
We just went on fire on another one, we're just not adding, and that's a good sign, you know what I mean? It's not like we've gone back yet and had to
Right.
reduce something that we,
Exactly.
So,
And it's that part, like Charlie said, you know, talking new ambulance, we're talking the fire trucks. One of those highway trucks is a 1978.
yeah. So
The
Heather
big
and I
truck.
were discussing this a little earlier too, is I think we need to, once we get through this, is come up with a realistic plan of how we're gonna fund some of these larger ticket items that are gonna come up. You know, whether we put so much away into a capital reserve fund. But, because for a fire truck, we're gonna have to put a couple $100,000 a year away for 3 or 4 years.
Right.
For a fire truck alone.
That's if you buy a new one.
Yeah.
For one truck.
Yeah.
Call Fitchburg, see if they're doing the ladder trucks over there.
Yeah. Call the US government,
Yeah.
that's who you call.
The downside too is even if we could afford something right now, we couldn't put it anywhere. Because the newer trucks are longer, don't fit in our fire station, so we have this problem where if we don't build at least some sort of building, we can't buy a new truck anyway, because we don't know where to house it. So, I mean, we really have ignored big ticket items on the fire departments
Yeah, for a long
for
time.
the most part, and we haven't really done anything. So,
We bought a few pickups here and there, and police cruisers, but you think about it, like, oh, we bought that 1 ton for the DPW a few years ago, but other than that, you know, no major purchases of a big 6-wheel dump truck for the DPW or a fire truck or backhoe loaders or anything like that.
No,
And
the other,
that's good, it's good that we have the mechanic that we do. You know, go to bat for him, he keeps that stuff
yeah.
going and going, and like I said, one of those #1 snow fighting piece of equipment in 1978. Pretty soon we can turn it over to the historical society. So that's the road, that's Ted's route up there, and Ted lives up in a pretty nasty part of town. And the truck stays together,
Yeah.
so we're lucky in that sense. My hat off to the mechanic, does a good job.
All right.
There was good news about pothole money, additional pothole money,
Let's say we got 60,
66
yeah, 66 and change.
can we use that this year or is it for next year?
this year.
This year. So we did get the, you know, the governor put money into fixing some roads, we got 66,000 extra bucks for that, so.
Mm-hmm.
The way it's looking at down, we're gonna do 2 roads, so,
Two driveways.
yeah, this is a bunch of,
But, it's better than no money.
yeah.
Yep.
So trying to walk through this, so our next meeting then, just to keep talking about this, will be, we'll go through all the town budgets. We'll kind of go through all the budgets, come up with a game plan of where we can, because we're gonna have to at least knock off this 170 before another 400 gets added onto it from the school, if that happens. And then we'll talk about any other receipts that we think may tweak between now and then. Maybe we'll get ahold of Nancy and see, or Jean, see if they have anything different that we can do. Because if we can get some money in here, I mean, right off the bat, Eric is what, 40,000? For some of his items in here?
Yes, well, officer?
Yeah, there's about 40,000 or so in Eric's. If we can trim that, where are we, right here? So if we can trim that, and we can at least get, how much is the? I think somebody's sick of it.
What's that?
Very full.
$42,000.
So if we can at least do the 100 again, or close to it for the transfer station, and then Eric, that gets us down to 30 short. And then there's some other things we could probably tweak in here as we get closer.
To that DPW, you'd be perfect, you break even.
Yeah. So between those three things right there, that gets us level funded, that at least gets us even, and then we gotta figure out.
Hold that breath on what the school ends up
I
happening.
mean, well, here, let's look at it. So if we, this right here is a 1/4% increase,
How much?
1/4%.
No,
One,
2.5.
oh, 2.5, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I got the Heather eyes going, I got a pen. This is 2.5. So let's say she does come in with, what did she say, 8?
8.
I thought you said double digits.
For some towns.
Holy macaroni.
She said maybe 7 or 8%.
Talking about the school,
Yeah, 8 for us.
8.5.
So if we do end up with this 8.5,
It's 2,700,000.
that's us. Wow.
So what's that an increase up, Dave?
Well, this is an
Dollar-wise?
8, this is an 8.5%
Yeah, what
increase.
dollar wise would that be? From last year?
Well, this is last year's. And this is,
6 up to 5.
That
so
can't see
we're
too well.
400 grand, basically, more.
Okay, thank you.
So,
So the whole number is.
That's at 8,
Might
that's
not
at
follow.
8.2?
Point,
Huh?
I've got it in there. Yeah.
So that bottom number went to
8.53%.
141 us and short.
That's overall budget, Rick?
Uh,
That's the increase?
Total budget appropriation,
Right.
yeah, this is like, what, 8?
8.53%, 2,700,000.
That doesn't have what we have to pay.
Yeah, that doesn't, that's just, that's their budget up.
Yeah.
Ours is always different,
Yeah.
so.
Right.
Depends on
percentage.
population and the per capita income of each town. So while we may have more people in this town, our per capita income is lower. So say we get hit with a 3% increase. Maybe Hubbardston,
I see what you're saying, yeah,
you know, is a richer town,
yeah.
they get hit with more. So
Yeah, I think Hubbardston was,
Hubbardston's.
Your father must know, Rick.
except I'm paying taxes on that house.
So, okay, so this 448, and then we would have to take out our 170 that we were just talking about earlier, so. So, I mean, we're still, yeah, 278, 280, something like that.
Well,
That's that amongst friends.
you know, I'll tell you right now, we can't do that.
No.
You know, and I think everybody in this room is of the same opinion.
Is the local aid number the governor's number?
This was just level funded.
Okay, so
Yeah, we
the
did-
governor's was a little higher, right?
Yeah.
Now, is there ever a surplus?
Where?
I don't know, like over
Not in
years?
this town.
Here?
Yeah.
In us?
Yeah,
We
no,
never had that happen.
Never?
No.
no.
Um,
I
Every
mean,
year.
I moved to the thing.
Yeah.
so-
So the municipal side of our budget hasn't even, I mean, you can go back and look year after year after year, I mean,
Yeah, it
this year,
doesn't-
this year everyone's coming in with a 0%.
Right, it doesn't change much, no,
1%.
no, I looked at that, yeah.
And we've squeezed, and as we talk about a lot is, we haven't done any fire equipment to speak of. One highway truck, maybe some pickup trucks here and there, some cruisers. We haven't replaced any air packs, we haven't replaced any turnout gear either, right?
Not what? No, he's got a couple of small grant, well, he got that one grant for, what was that, 50,000 for that machine to fill the air packs, but he just, well, he was here last meeting, correct, and he said about those air packs, how they're starting to reach their expiration, and they're expensive.
And we really, other than, and, you know, we were forced to do things like the Ruggles Lane project, and we had to do that.
Yep.
The only thing we really done that was, something that I think it needs to be done was the common, but,
Yeah.
you know, 80% of that was being paid by somebody else, so, I
Exactly.
mean,
Yeah.
And we've been playing catch-up, Dave, you know, we've been, not only we've been cutting a lot, we've been cutting and all level funding, but also we're catching up on a lot of our debt,
yeah.
you know, which is a good thing,
Yeah.
so. Always better light at the end of the tunnel, I guess. Thank-
Survive the landfill.
Yeah, we did that and everything else that we went through for a couple of years about receipts being all off, so. All right, so next meeting we'll do highway, we'll go through all the budgets, come up with some consensus. I don't, we won't vote on final budgets till the last minute, but we'll at least kind of tweak things and move things around. Will be the 15th, and then we'll meet at the end of the, so the 15th and the 29th. 29th, yeah.
29th, you want me to do too?
If you guys wanna, is that,
But you can set that to 15th, can't you, we'll see where we're
yeah,
sitting.
should do it on the 15th, we can see where we're at. There's no like drama anymore. Everyone comes in like it's supposed to.
I know, it's pretty cool, huh?
It's getting boring, I'm quitting this committee, it's no fun.
And you know what, Dave? They seem happy.
They're happy.
Not like years ago, you know.
Well, there's no
how-
fighting anymore, I mean, we're all on the same page, which is nice, you know,
That's what I
so.
mean, everybody's kinda,
Yeah,
pretty good.
everyone's done well working together here, so.
So Dave, in the fire truck, we have to have the money up front. Is that the idea?
That'd be nice to do, I don't know if we could add any more debt on right now, and.
They do have some options spread up like
we could
a
at
lease
least-
package or something. You know, so much a year to cut the cost.
I mean, that's one hell of a hit to swallow at one shot.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like,
that's a quarter of the town's portion of the budget.
Right.
Not counting the school.
right, that's what I'm saying.
If we're
And so-
4 million and the truck is $1 million, it's
Yeah.
a lot of.
But I think it would be nice with the capital plan that Heather's been working on with everybody too, is sitting down and saying, okay, well, 2 years from now, we can start something, how much a year can we put away? At least to absorb some of it, so we're not financing it all,
Right,
you know, or leasing it all. So if we can come up with half of it at least, or close to half, and then do the lease from there.
Now, when you say you put something away,
And so what we do, so at town meeting.
does it go into a fund that earns interest or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah,
that?
so what we have is our stabilization accounts right now. This is the way we've set aside the savings, is we could set up a stabilization for the capital, you know, the capital needs account. And every year, in which we're putting money away, we can say, okay, this so much is going towards the capital needs account now. And then we would decide the plan,
What's to be spent out of that?
yeah,
what's
what are
to
the
go in?
priorities?
Yeah.
So we can say, okay, 2 years from now, we're gonna do this fire truck. You know, well, here's how much we're gonna lease, or how much we're gonna try to save to pay cash for. You know, here's the truck for the highway, here's some of these big ticket items.
I mean, basically, the dump, I think, was something we had a hurdle to jump over. Any more of those kind of hurdles coming along? No, right? I mean,
You never see them coming, they seem to come,
Well, I'm just saying,
They
the
sneak up
dump
behind us,
dump
these
business
hurdles.
is gonna be just
yeah,
kind of level now.
yeah,
I really don't
Town
pretend.
is gonna be level.
yeah. So I think the big things now is if they can do this building for $3 million, get something up, and then after that, there really shouldn't be much more big stuff, you know, other than some capital, you know, other than
Yeah.
The only
equipment.
other
Then that's
thing we
it.
have to think about funding as well is
13
OPEB.
grand for those
Mhm.
units. How
Is
many
what?
do you need?
OPEB,
That's
we have
right.
that,
Two?
liability.
What's that cost up?
What if we got in, do we
It
have to
depends
have
on
any
your
actuary?
actuary.
No, we never did a reserve fund.
We didn't do.
So what we found is, if you don't have a reserve fund, folks will come for it, so.
Which
Yeah.
they're working on.
You carry no money in your purse or wallet, you don't spend it, that's what happens, right?
That goes up.
We didn't do one, so
Basically, yeah.
no one came to us for money this year.
And Not yet, I mean,
Yeah.
it should start.
So, yeah, we only have another
Everybody
month.
just knows it doesn't exist.
Yeah, it just doesn't exist anymore, so, I mean, imagine, what did we used to do, 55?
Yeah,
Yeah, and then we cut down to 25,
it
and then
was 30,
15.
then we upped it.
Yeah. So, no one's really is making any reserve fund
No,
this year, so.
no, in the budgets, we've been watching the warrants, they look pretty in line.
Yeah.
Everyone's spending to their.
They've become well-trained.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I think one thing that's helped has been, I think we all communicate better than we did years ago, so we're all on the same page with what's going on, which is nice. So those department meetings you guys have, I think, help out too, and, the fact that we have everybody come in and it's more of a, cordial meetings as opposed to contentious. like we
The
used
other
to.
thing we do, Dave, is when we do the warrant, if we have a question about an item on the warrant
Mhm.
from one of the departments, we ask immediately,
Yeah.
what is this, So,
I think another thing helps too, David, is starting this process as early as we do.
Yeah.
Years ago, we didn't start till late, and everything I don't know, it seemed to be a lot more chaotic. I think this is more of a leisurely pace, you got time to think things out, you see numbers coming in, numbers going out.
Yeah.
I think that helps us too.
All right, so we'll do the 7 o'clock and the 15th.